Hey, everyone, gather around. I've got something wild to share. And trust me, you'll want to hear this all the way through. Picture this. You're sipping your morning coffee, feeling totally fine, when bam, your body throws you a curveball. Maybe your chest flutters, or a wave of dizziness hits, or you're just weirdly exhausted out of nowhere. You shrug it off. Oh, I'm just getting older, right? But what if that little nudge was your body screaming for help, counting down to something you could have stopped? Every day, people miss these quiet signals, and for some, it's game over. Today, I'm spilling the tea on 6 sneaky warning signs that could mean life or death, especially for us or the older folks we love. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll know what to watch for and how to act before it's too late. Let's dive in. This could save someone. First up, unexplained shortness of breath. You know that feeling when you climb a few stairs and suddenly you're huffing like you ran a marathon? The video I saw said this could be your heart or lungs waving a red flag. Think congestive heart failure or a nasty blood clot called a pulmonary embolism. They told this story about Robert, a 74-year-old guy who loved his walks. One day, he got winded on a short stroll, brushed it off as aging, and a week later, boom, a heart attack took him out. Brutal, right? But here's my take. We've all been there, panting after something small, blaming it on being out of shape. I chased my dog around the yard once, laughing. Guess I'm not 20 anymore. But then I think of my neighbor Jim, 68, always tinkering in his garage. That summer, he'd stop mid-project, hands on his knees, gasping. Getting old, he'd grunt. A month later, he was gone, a heart failure. His wife found out fluid had been drowning his lungs for weeks. Scary stuff. So, if you're winded after light stuff, or waking up gasping, don't ignore it. Track it. Call a doctor. A simple check could catch a disaster. Jim's story still gets me. He didn't have to go like that. Next, frequent chest discomfort. The video warned it's not always crushing pain. Sometimes it's just a weird tightness or pressure, like someone squeezing you. They mentioned Harold, 78, who'd feel these mild squeezes for weeks, ignored them, and one night, bam, heart attack. Done. Here's where it hits home for me. It's sneaky because it's not dramatic. I felt it after stressful days, wondering, is this heartburn or too much coffee? But my Uncle Dave, he was a tough farmer, used to rub his chest while we talked. Indigestion, he'd say. One harvest day, his heart quit. Doctors said it was angina, his arteries were screaming for help. Or take my friend Lisa's dad. He felt this odd pressure watching TV, popped an antacid, and forgot it. 2 days later, ER. Stents. Barely made it. Subtle? Yep. Deadly? Almost. If your chest feels off, pressure, burning, heaviness, don't play guessing games. Get it checked. It's not overreacting. It's outsmarting fate. Now, number 3, sudden weakness or dizziness. The video said this could be a mini stroke or an irregular heartbeat messing with you. They told us about George, 72, who got dizzy and weak in his leg one day, laughed it off, and the next morning, wham, full stroke. I get it. Dizziness feels like nothing. I've wobbled, thinking, oops, stood up too fast, blaming low blood sugar. But when your arm or leg goes wonky too, that's no joke. My cousin Mike, a 65-year-old runner, tripped mid-jog once, feeling woozy. Dehydration, he said. A week later, he couldn't lift his mug, stroke. Or picture Sarah, a teacher I met. She'd get lightheaded grading papers, call it old lady moments. Then her arm went limp mid-class. She survived, but half her mobility didn't. Those many episodes? They're rehearsals for disaster. If the room spins or your limbs flake out, even for a sec, don't wait. Time's the enemy with strokes. Call for help, better safe than sorry. Moving on, swelling in the legs or abdomen. The video said puffy legs or a bloated belly could mean your heart, kidneys, or liver are in trouble. Fluid buildup's the clue. Frank, 76, ignored his puffy ankles and tiredness and ended up in the ER with heart failure. Sounds harmless, right? I've seen my ankles swell after a flight, thinking, whatever. But when it sticks around, my grandma, 80, feisty, once griped her shoes didn't fit. We teased her about cankles. Then she got bloated and sleepy, heart failure. Fluid was choking her system. For John from church, his legs swelled so bad his socks left marks. Bad circulation, he said. Weeks later, he couldn't climb stairs, kidneys failing. Dialysis saved him, but he regrets waiting. Check your legs and belly. If swelling lingers, especially with fatigue or breathlessness, see a doctor. It's a sign, not a quirk. Number 5. Unusual fatigue. The video said sudden, lingering exhaustion could hint at a heart attack. Ruth, 70, felt wiped for weeks, then, bam, a heart attack. I'm the king of, I'm just tired, excuses after a long day. But when it's bone deep and new. My coworker Paul, 67, started napping at his desk. Aging, he'd chuckle. One Monday, he didn't show heart attack over the weekend. Or Maria, a mom I met, she'd sit after 5 minutes of walking her grandkids, exhausted. Getting old, she said. A month later, surgery, her heart was failing. It's not normal tiredness, it's heavy, relentless. If your energy tank's hard with no reason, don't nap it off. Get a checkup. Your heart might be crying for help. Last one, irregular or racing heartbeat. The video said fluttering or pounding could be atrial fibrillation, risking a stroke. Tom, 73, ignored random racing beats and nearly got hit with a clot. I felt my heart skip during a scary movie, laughing it off. But when it's random, my dad, 69, felt his heart dance mid-golf swing. Caffeine, he said. Months later, stroke from AFib. Or Ellen, a knitter I met, her heart raced while she worked, then settled. She ignored it until a clot hit her lung. Barely survived. Feel flutters or pounding. Monitor it. If it's frequent, see a cardiologist. A fix could dodge disaster. So, here's the wrap-up. These 6 signs: shortness of breath, chest discomfort, dizziness, swelling, fatigue, funky heartbeats, they're quiet. They whisper, nudge, annoy. But they're your body's 911 calls. Jim, Dave, Mike, they paid for ignoring them. You don't have to. My big lesson? Listen closer, act faster. Check yourself, bug your family. Book that appointment. The stakes are too high to roll the dice. What do you think? Ever felt these? What hit you hardest? Tell me, I'm all ears. And share this with someone, it might just save them. Let's beat the countdown together.